getting the camera ready. Okay. Okay, bye. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Getting camera ready. Getting interrupted. Hey everybody, this is Jean here. Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. I am working on my you must excuse me, I'm falling apart here. I'm working on my One Block Wonder quilt, my kaleidoscope quilt, my blocks. And if you're new here, I have a playlist on how I'm making this quilt. I have never made this quilt before. This is a tutorial in many parts, because it's not, as I keep saying, it's not a quick project. This is a step by step project, and I've never made one of these before. So I'm learning as I go along. Now, what I learned right now in the video that I'm going to be showing you, the footage, is I'm not quite sure if the math that, how I, in steps 1 and 2, I cut my actual block, my actual strips to my triangles. I don't know if that had any bearing on the size panel that I'm using, because miraculously, the math worked out as far as sewing together my whole hexagon blocks and my half hexagon blocks. If it might be Greek to you right now, but as I was filming, I was surprising myself how sort of mathematically it turned out, with going over to my design wall repeatedly. I have to address the fact that somebody, Jacqueline, thank you so very much. You pointed out that one of my blocks on my top row, my hexagon, my whole one, was turned the wrong way around. And I was saying, I commented that it can be very confusing, and when you're working with these kaleidoscope blocks one after another, I've had to walk away from the project because sometimes my brain was getting a bit confused. But as I was saying, this is my project is just a small wall hanging, and I really am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process. It's very creative. You can put your own spin on it. But again, I was very thrilled, as you will see in the following footage, that my math and the blocks actually worked out. Now, if they hadn't have, and I will sort of explain that as I go along with the strips and the rows, if they hadn't have, I wouldn't have been all that bothered, because the pattern, which is a burst of color around my sedate panel, is just that. It's just an explosion of color. So if I had to have, I thought I was going to almost have to insert like a little piece, jiggery-pokery, as I say. I didn't have to do that. I worked from the bottom up. Now, I'm working with my panel in the top left, but I have had to surround my panel with my blocks. So I think it would be the same principle if you had your panel in the center. You're going to be doing a vertical. I did my panel and the bottom half. Now, if I had it in the center, I would have put my blocks on the bottom and then attach them to the top, and then my sides. So again, you will see in the following video where I've gotten up to, and at the very end I say goodbye, but then I do a little PS. I am adding my rickrack only because, and I show you a picture of it, only because I didn't trim the white off, if you remember, around my panel. And also, as I said in the very beginning, I quite like the delineation between the panel and the blocks. I didn't love that squared off or rectangular cut off of just my panel. So I'm putting my rickrack. So comment below if you like the rickrack. That will be at the end of the end of the whole project. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be adding a small little border at the top of this quilt to frame it, because a lot of the kaleidoscopes are just bound and are just the explosion of color. But we will see. But this is how far I've gotten. Again, it's not a quick process doing it. I'm really having to just, actually my design wall is in my other room, my other fabric room, and I'm in my sewing room here. But it's okay. I'm up and down and ironing as I go along, opening up all those seams, because there's a lot of seams. So take your time, press your seams really well. And yeah, if you are following along, I would love to know. I know my Jen is. She will be coming to show us her progress or her quilt. I'm not quite sure if it's done yet, because she just soldiers on, and she probably figured it out. But she'll be coming whenever. So again, thank you very, very much, folks. I hope you're enjoying this little tutorial on not quite a beginner's project, really, but again, not very hard. I'm enjoying it. So thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, love from the True Loves. Bye-bye. My last video, I was showing you how I was sewing together my rows together, one by one, vertically. As you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3 whole blocks, 1, 2 whole blocks, 1, 2, 3 whole blocks, okay? And then I've had to fill these in here with a half block and a half block, which will be on my vertical row going from the bottom to the top to the bottom, one row on this side, and then the rest of my blocks on that side. Now I've taken my panel off of my design wall, and I think this is what I do. For some reason, like miraculously, these blocks fit my panel with my 1/4 inch seams. But I've not gotten to that point. When I was doing this, there was a little bit of messing about. So I have to figure out my verticals in order to get my blocks. But right now, I'm going to be working on this unit here. Okay? So I'm doing my panel to my bottom, okay? That's the top of my quilt to the bottom of my quilt, my small wall hanging. Now, as you can see, it has these triangles from my whole blocks. The videos that I was showing, there is a 1/4 inch seam here. Let me just show you. There's a 1/4 inch seam right there and over here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trimming off right at that 1/4 inch seam, so I have a nice straight edge in order to attach my panel to. Okay, it's nice and square like that. I think that's how I do it. I don't know. I think that's how I do it. So I'm just going to put this over here, and I'm just going to find my 1/4 inch here and up here. And I'm going to trim off these 3 triangles here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, mate. Hope I'm doing it right. Yeah, the 1/4 inch there, and the 1/4 inch there, and the 1/4 inch there, to allow for my, oh well, here goes nothing. To allow for my, I think I'll save them. I don't know why I want to save them. I don't know. To allow for my panel. Okay, I've done it. So I still have the kaleidoscope looking blocks. Let me see it through the, oh yeah. Oh yeah. So now, like I said, it was sort of miraculous that my panel ended up the size of this, but I have a feeling when I go to do this, I guess I'll work up from the bottom and go to the top, matching these blocks. Oh, I'll get there when I get there. And go from there. I might even have to, like, infill, I think. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I have my straight edge there, and I have my straight edge on there. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put pretty side over to pretty side. Oh, as you can see, I have ironed all of my almost all of them. I have to go back and iron all of my seams open. Okay, I've ironed all of my 1/4 inch seams open, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew on this bottom piece right there. I'm going to sew my bottom kaleidoscopes to my panel. So we'll see how it turns out. I've just sewn my bottom piece here to my panel. All right, and I was wondering if this row here and that row there is going to match. Well, what I've done is, I don't know what the book says to do, but what I've done is I have my bottom row, and I'm going to need infill every other one, as you can see, because there's a whole one, there's a whole one, there's a whole one, and there's a whole one. 1, 2, 3 whole ones, so I need an infill there. And then of course I have 1, 2, 3 whole ones there. So what I've done is I've started at the bottom, and I've just gone up, and I've put the, you know, this way, this way, this way, this way, half blocks. The other half I will be using somewhere in the body of my quilt over here to fill in, I think. Yeah, like here's this half a block to that block. Now they're the same, they're going the same way. They're not twisted like the kaleidoscope if it was a whole block, but that's because my seams are having to go this way. So all I'm saying now is what I'm doing is I'm infilling for this row here, and I'm matching up the bottom. I went from the bottom up to the top, and if it matches here, it's okay, or not, or if it's too big up here, I can still trim it off. It may be trimmed at a bit of a funkier angle, but I tell you, with all of the colors in this thing, I don't think you're going to see it. Are you going to see it? I don't know. I don't think you're going to see it. I think that's pretty okay. I quite like this block here. If you can see this orange block here, that one's going that way, this one's going that way, but it sort of like borders that a little bit. I don't know. I think that I'm trying to convince myself. And again, I don't know if I love that. I don't know if I love that harsh line right there. I'll see. But I think it's very pretty. I do like my color placements. I do like my color placements of over here, and then all of the darker over there. So I think I'm just going to continue. So right now, this unit is together. I've done this and this, okay? And now I'm just going to go how I've had them pinned. I'm just going to take this row over to my sewing machine. I'm going to take this one, the seams, the seams, the seams, the seams, and all the way, and then I will attach that row to the left side of my panel, and then I'll start over here with some infills. Now I think these blocks here on the end are my quilt's going to end in a straight line here. So I have a few blocks left over to fill in. Yeah, I think it's real pretty. Oh, I think it's very pretty. And it's sort of worked out. I don't know if, like, mathematically, you know me in math, but I don't know if mathematically I've done it right. Again, I don't love that. Don't love that. I might still put my rickrack on there. I'm not quite sure. But I love the color. I love this over here, and I like the light airiness over here. So now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to go over and do that row there and attach it to the left side of my panel. So again, I've taken off my left row of my half blocks, and I've just put them together with my pins, and I'm just going to be sewing this row together. And as I said, I'm working from the bottom to the top, and hopefully this will fit. It will fit. It's just I don't know how much extra I'm going to have at the top, but I'm okay with that. So this is my top block. So again, as I was showing you before, this is how the seam is going this way, all right? And we're going to be putting the pretty side to the pretty side, and we're keeping that dog ear, that little triangle bit, extending. Okay, so we get our 1/4 inch seam over here and over here. So it's sort of, with these dog ears not cut off, there's that little intersection right there where your needle can go down. Whoops. Hopefully my machine won't be acting up. Right there. And then I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch, and as you can see, my little triangle is hanging off. And right off, the needle goes to that little intersection there. Pinch it and pull it. I always say pinch and pull so as not to stress that pulling it out. And as you can see, that worked out pretty good. You see, there's my 1/4 inch, and there's my 1/4 inch there. So now I'm just going to go down and do the entire row making sure everything is, that's the seam I want to sew. So pretty side to pretty side. Now this one I'm going to start at the top, at the little triangle, and I'm going to come down. 1/4 inch seam right there. Pinch and pull. Check it, and again, there's my 1/4 inch, and there's my 1/4 inch. Make sure that everything's in order here. This is my next one. Pretty side to pretty side. And I'll just continue sewing this row along. And there is my entire left-hand row. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to press all of these seams open. And hopefully from the bottom up it'll work out. Oh, look at that. Look at that little note from Ian. What does it say? Great to see you at the Juki creating. Ah, sweet. Took me a while before I could create. I'll put that there. Oh, it's so sweet. So this left-hand side of this row of blocks that I have sewn together, you just saw me sewing together. As I was showing you, I matched up the bottom, this whole block here. And then I put a block there, which obviously would match that hexagon there, this half block. So I came, and we will obviously be trimming this bottom off as the bottom of my quilt. So as you can see, I have a whole block there. Now I did stick a block there. Oh, that one's not very good. Don't look at that. My kaleidoscope. I'm not bothered. I'm just looking through it. It's a little bit wonky, but from a distance. Way distant. This is just an extra one, but it does fit in there with the seams going that way. I don't know if I got it right by mistake, because there is a little bit left over at the top here that I'm going to have to trim. Wow. So I don't know whether that's like mathematically correct. Did I get that right? I guess. Yeah, I guess. Wow, it's pretty cool. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that harsh line. I think I will put a little bit of rickrack. But over here, I quite like that, I think. I quite like that. And so I was saying, like, there's a whole block, there's a half block, and then the half block. So it's just fine. So it should be the same over here, right? So if I work my way up from this one here, my row, so I have a whole block, half block, whole block, half block, whole block. Yeah, it should work out the same way. Oh, wow. Yeah, so, yeah, I got it. Yeah, oh, yeah, this is how you do it, folks. So, yeah. So here is my panel. It's upside down. But I'm going, and here's my row that I just sewed together from my left-hand side. Now, I'm going to be working from the bottom up to the top, okay? You saw that in my last little bit there. The bottom matches up really well. So there's my whole block, my whole kaleidoscope, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one, I sort of did that like color-wise. It's really quite nice. That's not the same block as that, but obviously it was taken from the same area on my quilt when on my panel. And then miraculously, look, it matches. Like that seam is right at the bottom there. And I go up, I go up, I go up when I go to sew it, and then I do have a little bit left over. So I don't know if you know, I don't know, cutting it like your panel at certain sizes, mathematically it works out beautifully. Oh well, whatever. So now what I'm going to do, pretty side to pretty side, I'm starting in that. Now I'm not really a perfectionist whatsoever when it comes to matching seams because this is a whole bunch of seams anyway. I do have a 1/4 inch there, and I do have a 1/4 inch. I sort of just push them down together and hope for the best. Yeah, like that. And then I'll just work my way up, but I'm like amazed. So you can see there's my 1/4 inch, my 1/4 inch. My seams are... some of the tutorials were like so precise, and I'm like, oh my word, I don't know how to do it that precise. So pinch and pull it, and then no, I don't like that. I seriously think I'm gonna have to put some rickrack because I see that white border. I should have maybe trimmed that more, but anyway, that's to come. But there is the bottom. Let me just turn this around. So there's the side of my quilt there, my panel. Oh, so pretty. Yeah, it's really pretty. And I have matching hexagons. This matches, yeah, hexagon, full hexagon, full hexagon. So, yeah, it's all ever so pretty. Again, so step by step by step. All right, folks. Love from the Trueloves. Bye-bye. This is a PS. I've sewn my left hand to the panel. And look what I've put on. I think I've just laid that on. I think I like my rickrack. I really do. Just to add a little bit of definition, a little bit of separation from the whole kaleidoscope, softening my panel line. I quite like that. So I think when it's all said and done, I'll be adding my rickrack, and I'll be showing you how I do that. This rickrack just ties in so pretty with my panel. So yeah, this is a PS. My quilt's coming along really nicely. Yeah. So I'm just going to continue. Again, folks, thank you so much.